Most people feel it. That quiet weight pressing on the soul. They go to work. They pay their bills. They smile when they're supposed to. And yet, something is missing. It's not that life is unbearable. It's that it feels dull, like they're watching from the sidelines, alive, but not really living. They look in the mirror and ask, is this all there is? This isn't about failure. This isn't about laziness. It's about disconnection from ourselves, from meaning, from truth. And in that space of quiet despair, ancient wisdom rises with a steady voice. Stoicism, not as a philosophy in books, but as a way to return to yourself, a compass made of 4 unshakable virtues: courage, discipline, justice, and wisdom. Let's begin with what holds it all together and what most people never fully understand. Courage. Courage isn't the roar. It's the whisper in your chest that says, move anyway. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop letting fear vote. We've been taught to equate courage with noise, with speeches, with battles, with breaking records. But real courage lives in the silence. It's the courage to say I was wrong, to leave a relationship that no longer nourishes you, to start something when everyone else says it's foolish. It's the courage to become not who the world expects, but who your soul has quietly been asking you to be. And that kind of courage hurts, because it asks you to step away from the crowd, to risk being misunderstood, to risk being seen. But here's the truth. What's worse than being judged is being invisible to yourself. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So the first step is not grand. It's not flashy. It's a single, trembling choice to show up as you are, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, because on the other side of courage is not applause, it's freedom. But courage is only the ignition. What drives the journey forward is discipline. Courage says start. Discipline says keep going. It's easy to feel inspired in the moment. But what about the morning after? When no one's watching, when the motivation runs dry, that's when discipline steps in. Not as punishment, but as self-respect in action. Discipline is the decision to move, even when your feelings don't want to. To choose purpose over impulse. It's waking up early, because your vision matters. It's choosing clarity over chaos. It's writing that page, training that body, building that dream brick by brick. And it's boring, unsexy. It doesn't trend. It doesn't get likes. But every time you follow through, you whisper to yourself, I am someone who finishes what they start. And slowly, without even noticing, you become trustworthy. Not just to others, but to yourself. That's rare. That's sacred. As Epictetus wrote, no man is free who is not master of himself. So ask yourself, are your habits building you or burying you? Because discipline is love, the kind that holds you to a higher standard. Not because you're not good enough, but because you're finally ready to live like you are. We move outward, because life is not just about your goals, your vision, your discipline. Stoicism calls us to something higher. Justice, not in the legal sense, but in the ancient, moral sense. Right action, right character, right relationship with others. Justice is the virtue that says, how you live affects more than just you. It's the way you treat the stranger, the way you speak to your partner, the way you lead when no one is keeping score. It's choosing fairness over gain, truth over comfort, integrity over popularity. Justice is hard in a world of shortcuts. It asks you to think long-term, to care about the unseen, to protect the vulnerable, to live in alignment with values, not just feelings. Because success built without justice always collapses. Seneca wrote, he who does good to another man does good also to himself. Why? Because justice binds us. It reminds you that you're not the center of the universe, but a thread in a much greater tapestry. When you live justly, you live cleanly, you sleep well, you respect the face in the mirror, and in a world full of takers, to live with justice is to live as a light. Finally, we arrive at wisdom, the virtue that holds all others together. Without wisdom, courage is reckless, discipline is rigid, justice is blind, Wisdom is the ability to see clearly, to respond rather than react, to understand that not everything deserves your energy. It's knowing when to speak and when to be silent, when to hold on and when to let go. Wisdom is humble. It listens more than it talks. It asks, what is true, not what feels good. It's the quiet decision to learn from pain, to reflect before you blame, to pause before you post. And it grows over time, through books, yes, but more through bruises, through failure, through sitting with your thoughts instead of escaping them. As Zeno said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Wisdom is a way of walking, slow, deliberate, grounded, and in a fast world. Slowness is power. So, if you've been feeling lost, not because you lack effort, but because you lack direction, you're not broken. You're just ready to trade anxiety for awareness, noise for clarity, fear for purpose. That's what Stoicism offers. Not perfection, but practice. And in that practice, we become whole again. So start today, not with something big, but with one small act of courage, one consistent thread of discipline, one honest choice of justice, one clear moment of wisdom. You don't need a map, you just need a compass. And now, you have one. Wisdom is not something you declare, it's something you cultivate, quietly, patiently, over time. It's built in reflection, not reaction, in learning, not assuming, in stepping back, not always stepping forward. Sometimes, wisdom looks like restraint, not sending the angry message, not jumping into drama, not needing the last word. Sometimes, wisdom looks like bravery, taking the harder path, asking the tough question, letting go of what no longer fits. The Stoics didn't see wisdom as a destination. They saw it as a lens, a way of seeing the world, a filter that sharpens everything. You can feel it in someone who speaks gently, but with depth, who listens closely and responds with calm. That's wisdom, and it's magnetic. But it doesn't come from scrolling, or arguing, or trying to win every conversation. It comes from sitting still, reading, reflecting, journaling, watching how you move through the world, and asking, is this aligned with who I want to be? The world is noisy, but wisdom is quiet. You won't find it shouting, you'll find it waiting. Wisdom isn't about always being right, it's about always being open. Because here's the truth. Your life is shaped by the questions you ask, not the answers you already have. So ask better questions. What matters most to me right now? What am I avoiding? What would a wise person do next? You don't need all the answers, just better questions. Now, let's step back. Why do these virtues matter so much? Courage, discipline, justice, and wisdom. Because in the end, your life isn't defined by what you feel. It's defined by what you do with what you feel. It's not the fear, it's how you face it. Not the distractions, it's how you refocus. Not the injustice, it's how you respond. Not the confusion, it's how you seek clarity. That's what Stoicism teaches us. Your emotions aren't enemies. They're signals, but you are not a slave to them. You are the captain of the ship, and the sea will get rough. That's a guarantee. But your compass, those virtues, that's what keeps you from drifting. So when life tests you, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what virtue is this calling out of me? When your plans fall apart, lean on courage. When the work gets boring, lean on discipline. When you're tempted to cut corners, lean on justice. When you don't know what to do, lean on wisdom. It's not a perfect system, but it's a powerful one. It gives you something most people lack, a steady center, a place to return to when the world spins too fast. And here's the most important part. You don't need to master all 4 virtues at once. Start with one. Pick the one that speaks to you today. Maybe it's courage, or discipline. Maybe it's justice, or wisdom. Start there. Practice it today, then again tomorrow. Let it shape the way you move, speak, listen, act. Over time, you'll notice something. You're calmer, stronger, less reactive, more intentional. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just change how you feel. You changed how you live. That's the power of a philosophy that's lived, not memorized. it becomes who you are. So, end here with a challenge. Ask yourself this question every morning. What kind of person am I becoming? Then act like it matters. Not just in big moments, but in quiet, hidden ones. The ones no one sees. Because those are the ones that build the foundation of a meaningful life. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. That's it. No applause. No performance. Just daily alignment with what's right, true, and good. This is how you take back your life. This is how you move from drifting to leading. This is how you live not perfectly, but purposefully. And in the end, that's what it's all about. A life well examined, a life well lived, a life guided by virtue. And that life, it starts with one choice, and that choice is yours.